Is it the same rotation for leveling than with endgame? Yeah, pretty much. And I have been learning a rotation that pretty much is the ultimate endgame captain rotation. So I've got two different rotations. First is my bleed rotation, which is like 3, maybe 4 abilities, which are down on here. It's 1 to 4. I put cutting wound on, and then grave wound, I cast that, and grave wound spreads cutting wound to the other enemies. And then when I use Shadow's Lament, it spreads the grave wound bleed to other enemies. So by the time I press these 3 abilities, 1, 2, and 4, the 2 bleeds on the enemy I was fighting and all the other enemies around them, which is like a way, it's like AOE bleeds. So that's like a big one with just a couple abilities. And Inspire added in there as well helps, like, I think it gives me a whole lot of like critical chance and stuff. Gains a personal buff, yeah. So there's that rotation. The major rotation though that is based around keeping 2 buffs active involves casting Battle Shout to get the Battle Readied buff, which gives me melee damage and tactical damage. Then casting Devastating Blow, which consumes that and turns it into Battle Hardened, which gives me a defense bonus essentially. So one's attack, one's defense. Turns the attack bonus into a defense bonus. And then by casting Defensive Strike, it gives me Battle Readied again. So from casting those 3 abilities, I now have the Battle Readied buff and the Battle Hardened buff both active at the same time. So I'm getting the bonuses of both. So that rotation involves, and I'll do it right here, I press E for Battle Shout, then I'll do Devastating Blow, which consumes it, turns it into Battle Hardened, and then Defensive Strike, which consumes... well, it doesn't consume it, but it gives me Battle Readied again. And now up here you can see I have Battle Readied and I have Battle Hardened. So that's the principle of that rotation. The way it works then is Blade of Elendil is one of our best abilities. So we're going to do our little rotation here. 3 abilities, now we have both the buffs. Now what we want to do is we want to wait for Battle Shout to go off cooldown so we can use it again. And once it's ready, we can cast Blade of Elendil, then Devastating Blow, and then Battle Shout. Now I just missed the timing for it there, but we'll try again on this guy. So I currently have 2 buffs active. I can do a whole lot of attacks here. Say we want to go for this guy. We want to get Battle Shout ready. We're going to do Blade of Elendil. We're going to do Devastating, and then we're going to do Battle Shout. And now we have the 2 buffs again. And now we can do it again. Blade of Elendil, Devastating Blow, Defensive Strike. We didn't get time to do Defensive Strike. There we go, got it there. Now we have the buffs again. So by casting this backwards, Blade of Elendil consumes Battle Hardened state. Devastating Blow turns my Battle Readied back into Battle Hardened. And then going back to these ones gives me Battle Readied again. So I consume it and regain it in a couple of abilities. And that is the fundamentals of the Captain rotation there, essentially. You have kind of 3 different little rotations. One that is purely your Bleed AOE rotation that you'll throw in between all other things. And then the rotation to keep Battle Readied and Battle Hardened active. So Battle Shout, Devastating Blow, Defensive Strike. I have the 2 buffs here. Now I can do my Bleed rotation. I can do something else. I'm pressing some other abilities. About now would be the time to cast a Blade of Elendil, then Devastating Blow. And now I'd be able to cast Battle Shout before this goes off. See, it's just gone off. So if you miss that timing, you mess it up. It's quite hard to get the timing right, especially when you're leveling, because enemies die so quickly, right? But I've been kind of getting used to doing the rotations while leveling because it's the best way to get damage out, and you really notice it on Landscape 3. Like, do all the abilities work when you move around, or do you have to stand still? All of these abilities work while moving around. Not a single one of the Captain abilities needs to be standing still, I believe. I don't think any have induction times. So yeah, I do a lot of moving around, which is perfect for the Captain because you want to be moving between enemies. And that's the art to leveling with this rotation, is learning how to move. So for example, like running up to this guy, I'll cast my first rotation. Now, he's going to die before I'm going to get the chance to reapply that and get the whole advantage of that rotation. So if I don't find someone, it's going to be worthless. This guy here, let's see if I can get it in time. Blade of Elendil, Devastating Blow, Battle Shout. There you go. Now with those 3 abilities, I nearly just killed him entirely with those 3 abilities, like, because you put out a lot of damage. But you got to keep that up to get the value out of it. Sometimes I'll be running through a camp and I'll try to like be really efficient. Sometimes if I'm not really feeling like focusing, I won't worry too much about it. But yeah. Here's a little example. Right, we do our initial rotation, we messed it up. But it doesn't matter if we swap between enemies because the rotation is based on buffs on us. We don't have to be basing it on bleeds on the enemies. So as long as you get it in, we're good. As a backup, in time of need gives me battle readied state as well. So I have 3 abilities that give me battle readied. I have battle shout and defensive strike, and with the 2 of these you can do the tech. You need both. But with time of need, that's an extra backup I could use. If I mess up the timing slightly, I'll chuck that on just to keep my rotation up of the abilities. And by the time I've used these 2, this will be off cooldown to be used again if needed. Which is a bit more confusing, but you know. This is deep Lotro tech stuff. I mean, like, you either know, you kind of, either it's complete jargon or it's helpful. But I find that rotation fully made me understand it more now. It's a lot simpler to me. When I first played Captain, I didn't really understand how to get the most out of its abilities. It seemed really confusing.